Achieve your flow state at will, the cliff diver's way to getting in the zone. And I'm not even talking about the zone, I'm talking about celebrating consecutive 10 dives over and over, perfect 10, over and over, perfect 10, over and over and over. Hello, everybody, and welcome back. I'm Edison, and welcome to the Cliff Diver's Edge, where sometimes in life you're on the dirt's path and the trail, looking, worrying, fearful, doubting, wishing you had support or like a mentor or a coach for just that inch of guidance before you spring off the perch over the 30 or 50 feet over the water. You walk to the cliff's edge where doubt and uncertainty and those inner demons come in full tilt, right? And as when those toes are right on the edge, right? And you're looking down. Should I jump? What should I do? I'm not good at this. What should I do? I'm scared. I've never done this before. How come I'm so unhappy? And that's where I come in. So welcome back to the Cliff Diver's Edge, taking you from unhappy to passionately, joyously happy within 30 days. Please consider subscribing and hitting that bell notification so you get notified each and every time a new video comes out here on the channel, The Cliff Diver's Edge. And if you could do me a huge blessing, if you see the thumbs up like button down there, go ahead and give it a nice little smash. So it tells everyone else that you enjoyed the content, and they'll share it, and then other people share it, and then this cliff diving Peak Performance channel grows and expands, and we scale up everyone's life. All right? Thank you so much. Achieving your flow state at will. The cliff diver's way to getting in the zone. And we're talking not only celebrating consecutive perfect 10 dives over and over and over and over, but getting in that zone. Forget those butterflies in your stomach. Imagine ripping a perfect 10 dive and then yelling and screaming and slapping the water in victory as you not only did one perfect 10 dive, not two, but three consecutive perfect 10 dives. And the crowd cheers, your fellow divers shouting your name and like chanting your name, giving you celebratory high fives. Awed, in shock, and in disbelief of what you just accomplished. You feel that? You seeing how your mind and your body is just lasered in like that rifle, tuned in, tapped in, turned on. Well, that's the feeling of nailing several unbelievable cliff dives. But how do you go from teetering on the edge of a cliff, heart hammering, like a techno beat going in faster and faster in your heart, nervousness, every muscle in your body saying, hell no, I'm too afraid to do this, I can't do this today, to getting to the point to executing a flawless, gravity-defying dance, an aerial masterpiece, not once, not twice, but 3 times. That's the zone. Enter the exclusive flow state, the holy grail of cliff divers, and anyone who wants to sort of grab their piece of work productivity and accomplish more in just 1 hour than they could have in 5 or 6 hours. Flow state is the zone where perfection takes flight. It takes over. You're on that wave. It's just natural. Some surfers hail their stories of being in the flow state and riding those waves for hours. Some entrepreneurs can't stop working at 2 a.m. because that flow state has taken over. That focus, that getting this done. I got this done. These are accomplished. Do you recall your last flow state? Your deep work zone, when you bent time and accomplished more than you had in just 1 hour than that would have usually taken you 6 hours. Flow is an optimal state of consciousness during which we both feel our best and perform our bests. A lot of people say it just comes and goes, but we're here to tell you for the Cliff Diver's Edge, we're going to be tapping into it at will. It's a state of total zoned in attention and total involvement. You get to be focused and deeply engaged with an activity that everything else sort of just falls away. time speeds up or slows down, your sense of self vanishes. Your senses are heightened. Your performance goes through the roof like never before. Flow state, that magical space where challenge and skill blend perfectly, just like cliff diving or one of your hobbies that you really enjoy, right? It just blends so well. The challenge, but also the skill that you put forward the last 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. Now, we all seen athletes get in flow, like perhaps it was a swimmer winning 4 or 5 or 6 gold medals. How about the Olympics, like a 100-meter sprinter winning the gold medal, and then being in such a flow state and that rhythm, and then she wins the 200-meter gold medal. Or perhaps you've seen some of the ones that are like bowlers or like a dart thrower get in the zone and just nailing their like strikes and bullseye one after the other, and the crowd's going, yeah. Then the next time they're like, oh yeah. And then the next one like, yeah, you rock. So in flow, my dives become like effortless. There's no thought. I'm carried by the current of my ultimate high. It's fast, it's effortless, and it's like a drug. It's like drug-like. My body, a perfect tuned machine, slicing through the air, and my kickouts perfectly timed. No matter if it's a 3 meter, if it's a 5 meter, if it's a 10 meter, perfectly timed as I'm like a lightning bolt of lightning, just splashing in the water. So how do we go from procrastination to perfection? From lazy, tired, dragging yourself along to full zoned in flow. Now, the path to flow isn't a walk in the park. Distractions, you got social media, you got notifications, you got children, schools, bills, and the ever-present urge to nap or, doze off can be a cliff diver's worst enemy. But champions develop battle cries against these inner threats that are like these tiny beetles taking over the trees. We ever talk about these tiny little beetles that threaten our daily productivity, our daily habits? Let's talk about the sequoia tree, the sequoia in the redwoods. The trees rise and stand over 300 feet tall, towering over the entire forest. Its age, 3,000 years old for the sequoias, the redwoods. But it neglects the little things, the little itsy bitsy things, the tiny bark beetles. One day, the 300-foot monster falls crashing down after 3,000 years of grandness. Was it the wind? Was it the thunderstorms? Was it the rain? Maybe a few tornadoes? Was it like the droughts that came through every few seasons? No, it was the little itsy bitsy things, the day after day, year after year, that were neglected, that were the enemies. The tiny enemies in your disciplines, your work, your routines, your relationships, your career, and your goals, right? The little itsy bitsy bark beetles that crashed the big sequoia redwood. One of my clients used to be a focus fumbler, losing precision training time to mental negativity and overthinking his dive executions. But then he discovered the power of a simple trick, a lucky cap. And that cap became his anchor. He says once it was on, it was game time. So we tricked his brain to knowing it was time to focus and enter the zone. He became more fun, less micromanaging, and he became more successful in his dive trainings than ever before. After working with Steven, I seen his miraculous shift. He would take dives that he would only do on the 1 meter and 3 meter, and he was doing them on the 5 meter. He would do really cool twists and we call it like rotations that I couldn't even do. So it's amazing when we tap into the flow, when we use an anchor to sort of springboard us into that, and what it could create a month down from the road, 2 months down from the road, 3 months down from today. What if I told you flow isn't just a mental game, it's a full body experience? Some of the flow teachers around the world take an unconventional approach to training their brains for peak performance. They use coffee to focus. They like set different alarms to work for like crunch time and crunch zones. They set rituals every day exactly at certain times so the tasks are ingrained and repetition is set in. Some of the coaches use treadmill desks. Now, for me, depending on what client we're working with, we instill different anchors and everything. One of mine is a balance board. It's like a little mini surfboard. And check this out. Here it is. It's the Sportsneer balance board. And underneath it, it has all these little pegs. So you could set your balance and you could put like a ball under the board. You can put like this roller, and it has all these different levels of difficulty on it. So instead of sitting, I'm standing, I'm kneeling, I'm doing my little like toes and heel like balance, because you gotta use the carving, almost like surfing, carving, or a lot of people say the same thing for snowboarding, right? You got to use the rails. So I'll like lean forward and I'll lean back on the heels, and so this is one of my go-tos for focus. So instead of sitting down where we're like hunched over, or like our shoulders are even bad, or our spine's not like aligned, I go to this. So if I catch myself not being focused, I'll pull out my little balance board and I get to surf. How cool is this? And all these different places I'm at, there's no beaches, there's no oceans, so I get to enjoy surfing all day, but I'm also focused. And we're going to talk a little bit about what these do, or what the different focus tools do today that get our mind like going into flow while we're like doing like a balance drills on these. So I catch myself drifting off or not focusing, or I only have like 25 minutes to get like the tasks done. So I put the ball and the roller down on the floor. I hop on my surfboard and right to it to achieve flow, or maximum, focus zone. So it might seem odd, but training my body for balance also trains my mind for the focused precision needed to accomplish work and like get a lot done. Check this off. That was accomplished. Okay, got that. What's next? And really get in the zone. Not only does it keep me grounded and laser focused, but years ago when I caught on to this whole flow craze, this idea that you can get like 2 or 3 or even 20 times more accomplished in only half the time it used to take, or even less, I just had to try it, and I had to like see what I can do to anchor myself. Standing, balancing, just like surfing in Australia while working gets me out of the sitting rut. The shoulders hunched over, rut, the spine, not a thrust rut, and the productivity rut. Sometimes I use different stances. Sometimes I'll do different like toe and heel maneuvers to balance, but I'm also focused on whatever I'm doing. If it's designs, whether it's emails, whether it's marketing campaigns, and I accomplish it in so much less time. It's breathtaking. I accomplish this on so much less time. It's like you're in a different world, right? You're living in a different planet, because you're just like zoned in, like a horse racing. Proprioception is the body's ability to sense its position in space, and it's critical for everybody's movement as well as like sports performance. Training or balancing boards challenge the proprioceptive system, which helps improve the body's reaction to external forces and enhances motor control. Using a balance board requires a great deal of focus and concentration. This is a mental engagement can help improve your cognitive functions, such as concentration and mental acuity. Furthermore, the challenge of mastering the balance board can also provide a mental boost, enhancing your problem solving skills and your ability to concentrate under pressure and when we're doing different things for us. Maybe you're a cook, maybe you're a chef, maybe you're a musician and you're playing guitar or drums. Maybe you're a sewer and you're a seamstress and you're working on the sewing machines, but you're balancing and working on those feet and those heels to get you into the flow state. Just the power of 1 hour or 2 hours, my body continues to balance, stand tall, and win the victory over distractions, boredom, and the shiny object syndrome while working. Pretty amazing, huh? How just a little board, little surfboard or balance board, and you'd think almost like the opposite, right? You'd almost think like it would be the opposite. You'd think like, I can't really concentrate because my body's trying to concentrate in my knees and I'm trying to keep my balance, and it's amazing what we're going to be covering today in the flow state. Get my body balancing on this little board, and it actually makes my mind and my skill set better on the computer, on the laptop, on the editing machine, or whatever you are doing. Science backs up the magic of flow. According to Stephen Kotler in The Rise of the Superman, people in flow can achieve in 2 hours what might typically take 8 or 10. Imagine the advantages that give you as a cliff diver. And I know I'm metaphorically saying like you're a cliff diver. What could that do for you in your workspace, in your activities, in your weekly tasks? Where would your work or career be? Where would your diet and nutrition be? How about your fitness goals? What would this open up for you and your spouse or your family? This isn't just some theory. It's a game changer. Are you sad right now and have that firing, burning desire to become passionately happy? Are you looking to tear down the overgrown weeds that have plagued your life to discover your truest path and purpose so you can joyously dive in to your own glowing passion within 30 days? Well, hello, I'm Edison, and inside my metamorphosis from blurred to crystal clear Cliff Divers Edge Academy, I designed a place for you to find your passion and purpose within 30 days. It's for the people looking to take one step, just that small little step towards having a reason, finding and doing what you love, waking up with a zest and a radiance and a purpose and a reason, and radiating the world with your light. And how cool is this? To ultimately give back, shine, and level up the family and friends around you. Inside the Academy answers the questions that men, women, husbands, fathers, wives, mothers, and all single people have about fears, worry, depression, no purpose, hating your job, in a rut, and so much, much more. Each section and module is filled with practical strategies you can use right away in your day to celebrate you and see it dramatically increase your own health, love, strength, and joyous radiance within 30 days. You are worth the work. To check out the program down below. Flow state isn't a lucky dip in the water or a funny cannonball into the pool, right? It takes practice, it takes strategy. So here's some top moves or performances we can get into to zone into the flow state at will. I was working with Maria. She was a solopreneur, like a mother of two, and so she battled distractions like a pro. Her phone was her arch nemesis. But then we adopted her flow, introducing elements into her routine and her morning routines. So within a week, she was performing and feeling better. So what we did is we set up no coffee or phone until her first two work priorities were done. So that was the first thing we did. So no coffee or phone until her first two work priorities were done. What this did is focus the mind for that reward. So that reward 30 or 45 minutes from now saying, I'm going to do this, but then I'm going to get my coffee. Number 2, no more sitting. If you've seen the yoga ball chairs, they're the chairs that roll around, but they have the ball, the yoga ball. And a lot of people love them because just like Maria, she could work, but if she got a little distracted, she would do a little exercise, like a little ab exercise, or she'd do her yoga where she would lift her ball and that, and you can do some yoga exercises on the big yoga balls. And then number 3, we incorporated a physical anchor. And a physical anchor that we set up for her was like a really cool pair of socks worn only for working. And those socks became like her signal, she says. She says when she put on her socks, she knew, all right, once it was, they were on, it was like dive time, or it was cliff diving time. It was time to dive into my work. So morning time, kids running around, fixing breakfast and all that started to get improved, right? And started improving. But then when she put on her socks, it was go time, work time. She even said she couldn't be distracted. So her socks had to come off during lunch for the kids and whatever they were doing around the house for her children. The socks had to come off. So as long as that was instilled, we're wearing our socks when we're focused into work. We take them off if we got to go grab some water. Well, we have to grab lunch. We have to run an errand. The socks got to come off. That's the discipline. Several books provide valuable insights in the concept of flow and how to achieve it. Some of the most influential ones include Flow, The Psychology of Optimal Experience by Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi. The Rise of Superman, Decoding the Science of Ultimate Human Performance by Steven Kotler. Rules for Focused Success in a Distracted World by Carl Newport. Stealing Fire, How Silicon Valley, the Navy SEALs, and maverick scientists are revolutionizing the way we live and work by Steven Kotler and Jamie Wheel. And The Art of Learning, An Inner Journey to Optimal Performance by Josh Waiskin. A study highlighted in the Tim Ferriss's The 4-Hour Work Week revealed that the average worker is productive for a measly 1 hour of their day. That is like ridiculous. But those who can tap into flow can compress a whole day's work into just a few hours. It's just not about working faster. It's about working smarter and with laser focus. Achieving flow involves a combination of mental and environmental factors. Here's a few steps to help you get into flow. Set clear goals. Define what you want to accomplish with clear, achievable objectives. Match skills with some challenges for yourself. Challenges are always great, something to look forward to, but that reward signal. Engage in tasks that are challenging enough to require full attention, but not so difficult as to cause frustration and avoidance. Eliminate distractions, declutter, and create a no disturbance zone. Minimize interruptions by creating a focused environment. Turn off notifications, close unnecessary tabs or computers or tablets, and find a quiet spot. Focus on the process. Concentrate on the task itself rather than the outcome, and establish a consistent routine to signal your brain that it's time to focus every day at that exact same time or hour or place. Use physical anchors, as I mentioned. Stephen, the diver, had a cap, and Maria's socks to develop habits, or use physical objects to signal the start of focused work, right? We're tapping into flow at will, and that's what it is. Put that cap on, we're ready to go. Like wearing a specific hat or cap, or using those socks. Use tools like this balance board, right, to train your mind for focus and stability. You may like the Sportneer balance board, and I'll leave a link in the below. But you also might like the yoga balls, right? Something that gets you away from sitting. all the time, or hunched over, not, shoulders back and aligned. The physical practice can enhance mental clarity. Last few years, I'm always amazed to talk to someone that doesn't even like to surf, skateboard, and is uncoordinated, and that they invested in his or her own balance board or yoga ball chair, and the immense difference it made in their achieving more flow continuously throughout their day, their week, and it's really, really on a different planet. Let's talk light, the good old warm sun, radiant feeling. Work in an environment with good lighting and a comfortable temperature. Natural light and fresh air is a must-have. One Australian study that measured levels of brain chemicals flowing directly out of the brain found that people that had higher serotonin levels on brighter sunny days than on the cloudy or gloomy ones. That effect remained no matter how cold or hot the weather was. Other autopsy studies found that the people who died of non-psychiatric causes in the summer, when days are longer, tended to have higher levels of serotonin than people who died in the winter when sunlight is scarce. Decreased sun exposure has been associated with a drop in serotonin, and those levels, which can lead to a cause of different things like major depression and seasonal patterns. Spend time in natural light and fresh air. These elements can improve mood and energy levels. Perhaps you work at home, so maybe it's just working next to a window. Maybe that's the change and how you can tap into flow at will, right? Maybe it's just cracking open the door a little bit so that fresh air, comes in. And you're not continuous breathing that centralized air conditioner. So whatever it is, find those anchors for you. Sunlight, a window, a little balcony, fresh air, and see how that can improve your flow state and your accomplishing tasks and work throughout the week. Your morning coffee routine is wrong and killing your flow. Yes, I said it here at the Cliff Diver's Edge. Right, your morning routine is wrong and just killing your flow state. So how do we tap into that flow at will? So your routine is something like coffee as soon as you roll out of bed, sipping it while doing your morning routine, your hair, your makeup, and getting dressed for work and getting things prepared, getting the kids ready, right? Hopping in the car and driving to work, sipping your coffee, all the while doing what? Just nothing, going through the motions of the day. So we're drinking this coffee, which is a stimulant, getting us in peak performance, but we're neglecting it. So caffeine is a stimulant, right? So this great stuff here, caffeine, it's like a stimulant. It gives us that rush. So think of coffee as a triggered mechanism. So coffee is a stimulant, which means it increases activity in your brain and your nervous system. So it also increases the circulation of chemicals such as cortisol and adrenaline in the body. So what we want to use and what we want to see and focus on in our habits, maybe for those first 90 minutes when we wake up, we want to sort of zero in on, are we using things to propel us into flow? Right, so we want to use, coffee when it gives us that specific reliable benefit. And I know this is tough to comprehend, and it's going to ruin your 10 years of doing it the way you always did it, right? Edison, don't tell me, I've been doing this for 10 years. I wake up, I get my coffee, and then I could, right, get ready for work. I grab my, things, I get the kids ready, I could drive to work. So I know that's what you're going to be saying. So somehow we have to just take notes, and I'm going to cover a few things we can do on this to see when we're going to be taking coffee, and then how coffee is helps us improve on tasks and jobs. So we want to use coffee very specifically in its reliable benefits. A lot of the benefits are, perking us up, getting that adrenaline going, right? It increases our cortisol levels, so we become, more focused. So we don't want to distract us, right? So we try to make sure that we're not drinking coffee like on the way to work, when we're watching like a presentation. So, things like that. We want to focus our coffee around the times that we really need to focus and get things done. So now knowing that, we have to time our intake correctly. If you're on board and saying, okay, I'm going to change my 10 or 15 year habit of doing my morning 15, 20, or 30, 90-minute routine and just changing it slightly. So to increase what I can accomplish, especially all you solopreneurs out there, right? We got a list of things we do. We got 5 or 6 things to do. We wake up. We do the water routine, right? We do this, right? And then as soon as we get into those first 1 or 2 tasks, then we got the coffee, right, going, and we use it right there. So I use this portable coffee maker. It's the Sarah portable coffee espresso machine. And the cool thing is the coffee goes on the bottom. So you could just fill it up. I usually just fill this in the morning with the coffee. I love looking at coffees that have minerals in it, that have nutrients, all these coffees now. So instead of going to the grocery store and just getting like regular coffee, I'm so into like what coffees have, what ingredients, what vitamins and nutrients that could not only perk me up with that caffeine, but could also like help me with my blood and my veins and my joints and my my heart and things like that. So the coffee just goes in the bottom. It even uses the pods. You just stick the pod in the bottom. Here I fill it up in the morning. You screw it on. The cool thing about this Sarah one is this has this coffee cup on the bottom. So you just put this here. So if I'm going places or if I'm on the travel, all I have to do is fill this up with water. When I'm at work, hit the button, 60 seconds later, boom, hot, fresh coffee with nutrients and vitamins. And I'm getting in to flow at will. So try timing your morning intake. So if you have finished 1 or 2 of your morning work errands, driving to work, getting the kids ready, packing lunches, checking emails, stuff like that, responding to calls to customers, and then going right in for your coffee. And since you're just doing your first or your second or your third task, this will jolt you into Mr. or Mrs. Productivity for the next like hour or 2 hours. So that will be a game changer. But you're thinking like, when is my second cup? So wait a second, courageous cliff divers. More retweaking for optimum flow. Remember that we're trying to develop a reliable system that works every time. And that means we need to eliminate coffee consumption that isn't really connected to high performance. So if you're reaching for a coffee just to stay awake through like a PowerPoint presentation, it's going to be like a deprogramming a trigger. It's almost like you're grabbing a Red Bull or a Monster energy drink, but then you want to like take a nap. A lot of people do the energy drinks right before they're playing basketball or football or doing pickleball or things like, or going to the gym, right? They like that little extra energy or that caffeine. So avoid sending your body mixed messages. We're going to do some coffee, but then we're going to, or order the groceries, online. We don't want to, take some coffee and, run errands or, check emails or watch a, online, video, presentation for. So does coffee mean you're about to perform at your peak and then go get a cup or make a cup of nice, good coffee? Right? Does it mean you're about to zone out or you're staring at your monitor or you're just doing like errands and things like that? Go for some water or other things instead. My trick here is to get a little notepad. So if you like this and it's going to be a tough transition from your morning routine, change it by doing this. Get a little notepad or some sticky pads and keep track of your coffee consumption during performance or during tired, sleepy times. That's not to say that you don't have to limit yourself to a single cup a day, but you have to be intentionally aware of when and how you initiate the trigger, in this case, the coffee. And by tracking your sticky notes, you'll be able to zone into your optimal coffee consumption to maximize your flow state. It's almost like Stephen and Maria with their anchors, right? Stephen putting on a cap, but then going to use the restroom, or going over to talk to some of the people that came over from a different, city that are, diving for the day. Right? He's going to put that cap on, and he already knows. Okay, this means business, right? This means we're off to the races. Maria with her socks, right? When she took them off, if she's making the kids sandwiches, if she's running errands, right? The discipline, taking it off. Coffee, the same way, right? We make that coffee as soon as we wake up in the morning, and then we're getting ready, changing, getting our things together. Then we got a 30 or 45-minute drive, and see how that's more or less just on the path, but you're already awake and you're thinking, I feel great. But you could have used that coffee intake a lot better, keeping track of when you had coffee and what it was for, what those next few minutes or those next 30 minutes were. Was it high focus tasks or was it just regular, busy work? So train yourself to enter the flow state with caffeine and not to wake up your morning with it. Use caffeine to improve your work and focus, to dive into your ultimate flow state and get that first perfect 10 dive, then the second, then the third, then the crowd starts cheering, and then they're saying, oh, wow. And so we're improving the timing of when to drink coffee. It's better to wait at least 30 minutes after waking up before consuming caffeine, ideally 90 minutes. To avoid disrupting the sleep at night, it's better to stop consuming caffeine 8 or 10 hours before bedtime. Take breaks from caffeine every now and then. It's good to avoid caffeine once a week to ensure that you're still sensitive to its effects. I always say when we're researching caffeine, be sure to look into ones like I did that have minerals and vitamins in it. Don't just get regular coffee that tastes good. Look for the ones that going to improve your memory and your eyesight and all this other great stuff nowadays with so many products and different brands that can do so much for you than just the regular Starbucks or the other ones on the shelf. It's also good to avoid caffeine once a week to ensure that you're still sensitive to its effects. Additionally, it's recommended to take a full week or a break every few months. And this cleans and resets the system. So now it's up to you. How are you going to achieve your flow state at will? What section of this video are you going to put to use to change your poor habits, your continuous ruts? Will it be lasering in on the tiny enemies, your tiny little itsy bitsy beetles that made the 3,000-year-old and the 300-foot high sequoia redwood crash down? The tiny enemies in your disciplines, your work routines, your relationships, your career, and your goals? Will it be going online and investing in your own balance board or your yoga ball chair? Right? Just getting your body out of the sitting, hunched over routine? Will it be ordering or downloading one of the author's books that have you achieving flow state at will before this Thursday? Those books again are Flow by Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi, The Rise of the Superman by Stephen Kotler, Deep Work by Cal Newport, Stealing Fire by Stephen Kotler and Jamie Wheel, The Art of Learning by Josh Waitzkin. Will be involving a combination of mental and environmental factors as we discussed. How about taking what we did for Maria, the solopreneur and the mother of two? Number one, no coffee or phone until her first two priorities were done. Number two, no more sitting. She went with the yoga ball chair. Other people, you can do the balance board. There's other things you could probably do as well to incorporate that. Number three, we incorporated a physical anchor, a specific pair of socks worn only for working. Are you going to use the Australian studies in setting up your office or workspace differently so you have higher levels of serotonin levels on your bright, sunny days? Or are you going to train your body and mind to enter flow state with caffeine and not to wake up your morning with it? Use it like with sticky notes we were just talking about to track your consumption and to use it when we're about to embark on a task or a project. Flow state isn't a myth. It's a superpower waiting for you to unleash it when you spring off that 30 or 50 footer, twirling and sailing through the air in perfection and perform not one, not two, but 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 perfect 10 dives. So ditch the distractions. Find your focus triggers, be it a lucky cap, a killer playlist, a pair of socks, and practice these techniques. Remember, cliff divers aren't the only ones who can benefit from flow. Whether you're a student tackling exams, an entrepreneur chasing your dream, or simply someone who just wants to get more out of life, achieve more, and accomplish more throughout the day, flow state can be your secret weapon. So take a deep breath, visualize success, and dive into the zone. You might be on a different planet and seeing and being surprised at what you accomplished and achieved in your flow state, tapping into flow state at will. One of the most unwavering paths to finding your ikigai, your purpose, your significance, is to master the art of carving out your own beauty and shining through the imperfections. This journey is a testament to your determination to shape your destiny, and it's a pursuit that leads you to the profound wellspring of passion and purpose in your life. I've taught hundreds of individuals and organizations how to zero in on their truest, most passionate meaning in life, going from once cloudy, murky hurricane of confusion to horse racing, blinders on, full tilt, zing, adore, zeal, ear to ear, smiling in and throughout life. You are worth the work and love to hop inside the Cliff Divers Edge Metamorphosis from Blurred to Crystal Clear Academy and get started in the link below. Which tip and strategy did you really like to harness flow state at will? Go ahead, comment down below. Be sure to give this video a like and subscribe to this beautiful Cliff Divers Edge channel. If you found this video useful and helpful in any ways on flow, on tapping into flow, maybe some of your challenge of achieving flow, maybe some of your environmental situations that you haven't really overcome in a few months or over the years, right? Throw them in the comments. We're here to help and improve everyone scale up their lives. I love the impact this community has on lifting up the world. I enjoy spending the next video with you, and we'll see you then.